it's a portrait or a colonial scene or George Washington being painted from life by Robert Edgepine at Mount Vernon, crossing the Delaware by a guy named Schoonover. These tell a story and show us history through the eyes of the artist that painted it.
It was a treat to be with Jack Warner and having his perspective of all the paintings, and he had a story to go along with each one.
I think it's important to tie things together, the past to the present, as we project to the future. And as we start looking at this art, we see all kinds of images from what our ancestors were about, how this part of the country developed, experiences that they've had. I think the Westervelt Warner Museum of American Art is an opportunity to step into history in a creative, dynamic way.
The Warner Museum is important from several different perspectives as an educational resource. It's a resource, in my judgment, for the entire country, and as more people become aware of this collection, its quality, its scope, its magnitude, then increasingly we are going to have students as well as people who are art lovers come to Tuscaloosa to spend time at the museum.
There's so many resources in this museum for enhancing the learning experience for students. One example I think of is the wonderful collection of Native Americans. Looking at their dress, looking at the environment, the setting in which they were living, that whole learning experience could be so enriched by integrating a visit to this museum, talking about it, learning more about it, but then going back to the classroom.
It's important for students to realize why they need to be proud to call themselves Americans. And I think this museum can help them do that. We break them into small groups so that this is not a lecturing experience. Our docents are trained to engage the students in learning how to look at the work of art, how to take a visual inventory of a painting, and then use the pieces of that painting to put together and interpret what's going on. Recently, we had a group of university professors as well as high school and elementary school teachers. This was an opportunity for them to learn better our program and techniques for giving tours in the museum, and an opportunity for us to get more familiar with their objectives, their needs, and their desires.
Well, because the collection represents, I think, the strong commitment of one particular collector and the interests of one particular collector, there are remarkable resources here on particular themes in American history. Obviously, for anybody that has an interest in the Revolutionary period, you've got a stunning collection of portraits of the Founding Fathers that one can make use of. The Westervelt Warner Museum is unmatched in resources for American history, American art, American culture educators. You really can't do better, certainly in the state of Alabama, arguably in the Southeast. All aspects of our history can be taught by making use of this collection.
When I look at these paintings here, I guess it's like looking into a picture that it may not be necessarily moving on the screen, but it's moving in our minds.
I think art is more old-fashioned, I guess, because you get to look at it. It's not like you get because in video games, you know, you control what's happening in the. But with pictures, you are kind of imagining and then taking that picture and then grasping it and then looking in your mind and trying to figure out what it's about.
I would strongly encourage educators from outside of the area to argue to them that one of the most important contributions they could make to their students is to encourage them to come here and use this unique resource.
When I retired from education in 2003, I did not want to give up on trying to reach and trying to inspire young people. And I found myself at the Westervelt Warner Museum, and that passion was ignited in me that I you just got to get out and bring kids here. This place is a wonderful opportunity for them to express themselves and see their potential.
This is his continuing legacy and what the Jack Warner Foundation seeks to support through his museum, through visits not only to this magnificent museum, but also visits to his beautiful home and to his amazing gardens.
What's special about this museum is it really is the greatest early American museum, I think, in the world.